What's up, YouTube? It's me back doing another video. This is gonna be part 3 to starting dialysis. Now, like I said, when I started dialysis, I didn't do good at all. um I had lost a lot of weight, and I lost weight fast. Now, when I started dialysis, they had a strict diet. Like when I started, I started dialysis in like 2001. Um, so when I first started, the diet was real strict. Like we couldn't we couldn't have soda. We could have soda, but we had to have light soda. We couldn't have chips. We had to have no salt chips. If we wanted things like potatoes, we had to soak them overnight. Um, we couldn't add salt. We couldn't, like, the diet was pretty much bland. Um, so dialysis kind of already took your appetite, but then it's just like when you did work up an appetite to eat something, you didn't want to eat because you didn't, you know, it wasn't anything good. So that happened, and then once I started dialysis, I had a fluid restriction, which that was kind of hard for me when I first started, because it's kind of hard to uh, go from being able to drink what you want to have to train your body to drink less. So for me, for every dialysis patient, really, um, you can have a day, you can have about 1,500 um, mLs of fluid a day. That's it. So basically, that would be like equivalent to, um, let's see, maybe 3.5 canned sodas. That's all you can drink a day. That's your fluid a day. Um, because like when you don't have kidneys, um, your body can't get rid of that fluid like it's supposed to, and with some dialysis patients, they still make a little urine, but it's not enough to filter their blood or get enough of the fluid off. Um, with me, when my kidneys failed, I I completely, later on, it wasn't long, I completely stopped urinating. So I didn't urinate at all. So I really had to be careful with my fluid, because dialysis was my only way to, get all the fluid and stuff off. Um, then other things, like with dialysis, being on dialysis, um, my skin color changed. My skin is a little darker now, and that's normal, because um, even though you're getting dialysis and it's acting as a kidney for you, it's not a kidney. So it doesn't really filter your blood as well as a kidney would do. So it changes the color of your skin. Um, that was something different. Um, like I said, just the whole diet thing, the fluid thing, um, being more sick, and I think I stayed sicker too because I wasn't eating. So of course, when you don't eat, you don't have anything to fight infection and things off. And then also, I wasn't eating before I got on the machine, and that would make me sick. So it took me a while to get adjusted, my body to get adjusted, me to get adjusted to, basically learn the diet and stuff like that. Um, but once I did, it's like you learn how to tweak it and how to do different things or whatever. But like when the more that I was on dialysis, because my doctor seen how fast patients was losing weight, because of the diet, she basically just told us to eat whatever we want to eat, just limit things. So um, I could eat whatever I wanted to eat, but just had to limit it. I wasn't a salt eater anyway, but salt is in everything, really. Um, And you have to be careful with the salt with being on dialysis, because salt will make you retain more fluid, you know. So it started to tweak it as far as what you eat and stuff. But the main thing that they were really worried about is like your phosphorus and your potassium. And your phosphorus and stuff, it deals with your bones, so you really can't have too much, overdo it as far as like things that have phosphorus in it, like chocolate, milk, dark soda, you know, things like cheese, stuff like that, and potassium. We have to be really careful with our potassium. We have to make sure that it's preferably 6 or below, because a high potassium for us, for dialysis patients, could stop our hearts. You know, being that our bodies can't get rid of it, you know, without dialysis, you know. So that was certain things that I learned. But once I got adjusted quickly. And like I said, I at 10 I had already started paying attention to my body. So, you know, with dialysis, I was doing the same thing. So and then I had an issue before being on dialysis. Like when I started, like I said, I started dialysis in like 2000. And back then, they were reusing dialyzers versus now where they have a completely different dialyzer every time. Well, back then they were reusing dialyzers and just cleaning them. They go through this process and then they'll, you know, the next person can use it or whatever, however that works. But when I had got on the machine, I had started noticing that at a certain time, every time, I would get sick. I would start sweating real bad. My stomach would start hurting. I would be throwing up, and I would have to go to the bathroom. And it was like within the hour or two of being on treatment. And it happened every time. And, you know, they didn't know, the nurses and stuff didn't know what was going on, and it just kept happening and kept happening. So, finally, my doctor was just like, well, just flush her dialyzer more than the usual times. Do it like 4 to 5 times, you know, rinse it through, you know, and see how she does. So they did that, and it didn't happen anymore. So I have found out that what it was is I was having an allergic reaction to the chemicals or whatever that they were using to clean the dialyzer. Because even though they were rinsing it, some of that stuff was still getting in my system when they were like rinsing it back. So that would cause me to get sick. So you know, that was another issue. And then I think one of the scariest things for me when I first started dialysis is like I said, once I started eating better and feeling better, I started to gain weight. So, you know, they don't really know if they're pulling too much until you get on the machine and see how your body reacts. So usually when they're pulling too much, your pressure will drop on you. And at the time, I really didn't know what was happening, but I just know how I felt, you know. And I think that's what a lot of dialysis nurses need to realize, that when patients say, hey, my pressure's dropping, you may check it, and when you check it, my pressure will be fine. But if you go back like maybe 2-3 minutes later, it's already been bottomed out, because our bodies will react before the machine does. But like I said, I didn't know what was happening, but I just know I didn't feel good. It was just like overall didn't feel good. I started sweating really bad, and it's just like my whole body. Just imagine your whole body just being in a Charlie horse. Like you start spasming like that all over your body. And dialysis spasms are horrible. So I experienced stuff like that where you bottom out, and sometimes you bottom out really low. And like I remember one time I had bottomed out, my pressure had dropped so bad that I started to feel my hearing going, like I was gonna pass out. So that was scary. Um, but other than that, dialysis, it just became like a routine to me. Like uh, it was a part of my life, so I knew I had to do it. I had to make the best of it each time. So I really didn't go in there complaining about, oh, sometimes you don't want to go in there, but I started to learn. Well, when I went to CHKD, they had things for us to do as far as when you're on the machine. Like they would have a lady come, and sometimes they'll sit and do arts and crafts with you, or they'll give you a video game to play until your time's up and stuff like that. And when I was in school, I had 3 sets of books, because with my fistula, I really couldn't carry heavy stuff. So I had books at home, I had books at the hospital, and I had books at school. So when I was in school, I would just sit and do my work. A school teacher would come, and we would do my work, and you know, it was like, regular school. Like, and one thing I liked about that hospital is when I was on dialysis, because it was other kids there like me, it made it kind of easier because it's like we could all relate to each other. You know what I'm saying? And I built a lot of friendships with a lot of them. And the hardest part about doing dialysis is you're around these people 3 times a week, 365, and then you go there one day and then the person's not there and you find out that they passed. That was rough because it's just like, it could be me. It could be me. You never know. But like I said, it did make it easier to deal with because we all were going through the same thing and we understood. Like some days we would come in there laughing, joking, talking to each other, and then some days we wouldn't even speak to each other. But it's not because we were like being rude. It was just a rough day for us. A lot of us was going through a lot, as far as our illness. Some days we would come in there and didn't feel good, didn't want to be bothered, and we didn't take it personal because we understood, because we're going through the same thing. So I think that made it easier. What else can I say? And I mean that's pretty much it. It was like a big family there. Like I said, the hardest part is like when you build a relationship and then you go there and then people are gone. They're dead. And the hardest, trying not to cry, yeah, but my hardest, like my road dog, when I started dialysis, it was this girl named Mallory. She was a triplet, and we was both mean. Like we were both stubborn, and we would cuss each other out. The next day we best friends, but that was just the nature of our relationship, but I loved that girl. I loved her to death. And she was on dialysis, and she also had sickle cell. And I remember I had got a transplant, but I'll do a story time on that too. I had got a transplant, so I stayed on dialysis for 2 years, and then after 2 years, I had got a transplant. So my friend Mallory, she wasn't doing too good. Between dialysis and her sickle cell, she was at another hospital, like right across the street from the CHKD. She was in there for 6 months or so. So when I would go for my labs and stuff for my treatment, for my kidney transplant, and finish with that, I would always go see everybody else, and then I would call her and ask her, did she at first, if she wanted to see me or whatever. And even though I could hear in her voice she didn't feel good, she always said yeah. But when I know she didn't feel good, I try not to stay too long because she was on a lot of medicine, and I know she was weak and tired, but I just wanted to show my face and go see her. So when she was up to it and she was feeling good, I would always call her and I'd be like, hey, what snacks you want? What you want me to bring you? And she'll tell me, so I'll go get it, and I'll sit over there with her and talk to her for a while and stuff. And that was my girl. It was one day I had done my labs, and then I went to go see another person that used to be at our dialysis unit. And I said, all right, well, I said, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to the other hospital so I can go to see Mallory. And when I said it, it's like the room, it shifted. Like I could feel like something was wrong. And when I looked at her, she was just like, they didn't tell you? And I was like, what? And she said, Mallory passed away. And I was like, that stuff, it hurt me to my heart. That was my girl. But she was really going through it. And I'm just glad she didn't have to keep suffering like that. But I'm telling you, when you are around somebody like that, you build a relationship with them, it's hard to process that, because it's just like, I could be up today and down tomorrow, and it could be me, but it's still hard when you have to witness that. And it was a few other people that had passed away, a lot of people, but her death is something that really hit me hard, because we were like this, like we were close. I'm telling you, we was always fussing and stuff, but that's how we showed our love, Yeah, so that's that in a nutshell about dialysis. And another thing, it's a lot of misconceptions as far as dialysis. And when I moved to the adult world in dialysis, everybody assumed that, I was a diabetic or I had high blood pressure, and that's not the case. Like, everybody doesn't start dialysis because of high blood pressure or diabetes. I had a kidney disease, as well as other people that I was dialyzing with. They had a kidney disease, or some were born with one kidney, and as they got older, one failed. Some people had lupus, some people had sickle cell, so it's different reasons that you can end up on dialysis. It's not just solely from high blood pressure or diabetes. And like I said, for me as a dialysis patient, like I said, some people make urine, but not enough. Some people like me don't make urine at all. And I don't make urine at all. I had stopped anyway, but I also had to have my native kidneys removed. So I don't have any kidneys inside. My only kidney is dialysis. So and people like, it's no way that you don't have kidneys. I'm living proof. I don't have kidneys at all, and dialysis is my only, it is my kidney, access my kidney. And you know, thank God that they have the technology and stuff that they do today, that you are able to live, without having kidneys and still, have dialysis, and a much better treatment than back in the day. So yeah, I just wanted to share that too, because that's just like a lot of misconception. Even just like when I go to the hospital and I explain, they're like, oh well, we can't give you this medicine because your kidneys won't. I'm like, what kidneys? That medicine is not going to affect no kidneys because I don't have any. And they're like, oh well, you still have kidneys, because you still have kidneys, but you just don't have enough kidney function. I'm like, I had my kidneys removed, and they're just looking at me dumbfounded. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these health professionals that think that they know everything, they don't. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Yeah, that's it, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.